Hi Flosstube, it's Lisa Smith, Kindred Stitcher. Today is April 16th. This is take like 12 to get going. I feel a little bit rusty. It's been a month. If you're a subscriber who's coming back, thank you for coming back and saying hi. If you're new to my channel, welcome. This is a channel about cross stitch, needle arts, movies, TV shows, books, whatever I feel like talking about. Mostly it's cross stitch, and sometimes it's a little bit extra stuff. There's usually some pretty good haul. It's been a while. After my last video, I think I worked the whole next weekend. And I worked that weekend because the following weekend I went to a girls' weekend and I drove the coast from Washington to Oregon, met up with my a group of girls that I went to Ireland and Scotland with a few, let's see, it's been probably 4 years ago. They're my tribe. We raised our kids together, so they're very special to me. And I just was able to hang out with them and just chat and have a great time. That was one night. And then the next day, I drove down the coast and I just went antiquing and I stopped in quilt stores and was by myself. It was kind of nice. Then I met my other group of girlfriends, my sister and my college roommates and friends down in Newport, Oregon. And we just had a great time. It was so much fun. So the following weekend, I think I did a little bit of finishing. I have a fun finish that I did, and I'll show you that. But I just wasn't in tune to doing a video that weekend for some reason. Sometimes life just gets in the way, and there's not enough time in the day. So it does take some time to produce these videos. And then what else? Oh, last weekend I had 2 funerals on Saturday and taxes on Sunday. So yeah, that's what's happened since the last time we chatted, and now I worked on a few projects. I kind of had stitching ADD, so I went from one project to the next, but I did spend a few days on each project. And I watched some shows. I watched on Netflix, Toni Collette. She's like one of my favorite actresses now. I just finished watching pieces of her, which is, that's a very intriguing show. I recommend it. And then I also just finished watching Unbelievable, which is a fantastic series. It's a limited series. It does involve rape, so that is a trigger event for you. Just beware. And she was in Knives Out, which is the mystery. It's kind of a funny mystery that was out a few years ago. I really like her. I like her a lot. Very interesting, different roles she does. So I've been watching that while I've been stitching. I've been watching some Flosstube. I watched a few new to me stitchers. There is, I wrote the list, but it's probably in this big pile here. I know the Tiny House Stitcher I watched, because I was thinking, how are you going to hang all this stuff up in your house? Her stuff I like her stuff that she stitches. We are very similar. I watched Roberta from the Sable Stitcher. I met Roberta last year at Lee's Summit, I think, at the retreat there. And she's doing a sort of she's going to work on a website that has information about retreats, which is fantastic because sometimes I get questions about retreats that I can't answer for you because I don't go to every retreat and I don't know sometimes how to get into the retreats you're interested in. What else? Oh, I joined a Block of the Month club for a quilt. I did a couple finishes. We'll have one FFO, but it's not cross stitch per se. It's related, but it's not an actual cross stitch piece. And of course, I've got home. So there you go. That's the what's been going on in my world. We do have some giveaways and some stitchy kindness. All right. So first, let's just talk a little bit about. I'm going to talk about my whips first because then I can move stuff out of the way. I got a pile of stuff here. This is one of my 10 focus pieces, my 5 blondes and 5 brunettes that I was working on January, February, March, and April. And so that was a good experiment. I have finished a couple of those. I have a couple more that I'll finish probably fairly quickly. And then there are some I didn't touch much at all. And what I think I'm going to do, which is a little different, in May, June, July, I'm going to stitch Patriotic. I have several of those on deck to work on. But the 10 that I had this spring, I'm going to carry through the rest of the year and see what I can get finished. I've enjoyed stitching on them immensely. I just think I overestimated what I thought I could accomplish. And some of these are big pieces that have a lot, they're very stitch heavy, very dense stitching. So this one is by XJU Designs, and I bought the kit through XJU Designs, and she put the fabric in and the fabric and the thread, but the pattern is by Vintage Tulip Designs. Yep. And you know what? I think I'm going to reach over. I was going to see if I had a board to put this on. Hold just a second. No, it's not very big, but I'll use it. So funny, the whole hold please thing. I started saying that, I think, on my second video, but I didn't get it from Flosstube. I worked on enterprise project. I worked for a Fortune 50 company, and I was in basically process engineering for a few years. And we were on the same calls together all day long, just calls to move project work forward. And all the time we'd say, hold please, and while we're looking something up. So that's where I got it from. I didn't get it from Flosstube. And I think it's funny that a lot of people say it now. I mean, I don't know that I was the OG, but I didn't get it from anybody else. I just got it from work. Anyway, you don't care about that. So let's take a look at MidSummer Garden by Vintage Tulip Designs. And this is not going to work very well. That's all right. We'll do the best we can. So on this, I had like this done before. So I sat down and did the border on this. And usually I put these on my Q-snap, which I did, and then put it on a lap stand, which works well for me. Sometimes the border gets really close on the right side. I'm right-handed. It's toward the edge of my Q-snap, and the upright arm on the lap stand can kind of get in the way if you don't have a lot of fabric to move it over to the left. So I took it off my Q-snap, and this fabric is fantastic to stitch in hand. It's a 40 count. So to me, 40 count sometimes can be kind of tight. This was amazing. This was easy to see, easy to stitch. I just whipped that border out in a week. I think I stitched on this for most of a week. I finished the border. I finished this, and I started this. So I have another big bouquet over here and like a few little bouquets around here, and then it'll be done. I really think in a week I could get this done pretty easily. So this one for sure will get done this year. And I would say I'm not a purple person. Like, I don't have purple in my house, but I love this. The colors, let me see, I think I brought the threads in. Oh yes, I did. These, I don't think these are DMC. They're softer thread, and they're not as shiny. They're matte, but they are like super, super soft. Very, very sweet. Soft thread. I also think that when I frame this, I'm gonna frame it in a very simple, maybe a fluted edge, I can't think of, or maybe a flat silver frame. I have in my mind what it is. Do I find the right words? Probably not, but it is, I think it's just gonna have a silver frame. And the funny thing about this fabric is it's sort of a grayish fabric. It's called Thunder Clouds, I think. And when you put a white mat board behind it, it just brightens it right up because the holes are easy to see through, so it really shows that white from behind. That was a pleasure to stitch on, and I'm excited to get this one done. So much fun. Now, if I didn't have to work, I could get way more done, but I'm glad to have a job. The next one I worked on is Live on Little. This is a retreat piece. So this came out at the Farm Girl Gatherings Retreat last spring. It's by Paulette Stewart of Plum Street Samplers. It's called Live on Little. Hopefully this will be released sometime this spring. It is, you can see, this is like a shade in the middle. It's full coverage, but it's like addicting. I can't put this down. And I'm not going to put anything behind it because it's just really wide. So the last time you saw this, hold on, oh please, I was going to finish this corner, which I did. I've been threatening to do that for a few videos now. So I finished that corner. I built up the house. There was a little bit of mortar on here, so I did the door, the windows. You can see this is the roof line. came across, did the rest of the water, and started up the flowers. So the next thing I'm going to work on is finishing the house. And this is all brick, and then this is all solid roof. So when I get tired of working on my other project that is very confetti heavy, I come to this one because this is huge blocks of color. And when I'm tired of doing huge blocks of color, I go to the one that's confetti heavy. So that one, I stitched on that one for several days. It's just really got a lot of stitches on it. And if you watch my friend Kim Parta, P-A-R-T-A, she has a Flosstube channel, although I'm not sure, I haven't seen a video from her for a while. But on Instagram, I think she's on Instagram, and I know that Michelle Rudy showed it in her Patreon account, the picture of how far Kim was, and she was almost done, which is motivates me to keep stitching on it. So Kim does amazing. Okay, so Kim does a lot of class projects. She goes to retreats, and she has very intricate, involved projects that have like multiple accessories to it, and her stitching is impeccable. I worked on this one. This is the one I was hoping to have done by Easter, working on the top. Yeah, no, that didn't happen because I put it aside. This one is the one that has quite a bit of confetti in it. This one just had a little bit done on it, and I did more. I haven't even finished this one. I didn't spend more than, I think, 1 day on this one, maybe 2. Just a few hours, but I worked on this. Still love this one. I love this one. This is by European Reproduction Samplers, and I will link her below. Her name is Sabina Terrera Gundacher. I could be saying that wrong, but the colors in this is all DMC. The colors on this are fantastic. I love it, and I can't wait to see it completely done. Here's the picture. Now, I believe this translates to Forget-Me-Not sampler. And I'm right about here. I'm about halfway. So, halfway-ish. This is my only start this year so far. And I'm telling you, I've got so many whips to work on, but so I sort of got to where I didn't really want to work on any of those 10 that I had chosen. I don't know why. Sometimes I'm like, I think it's the colors. You stitch a lot of the same colors over and over, and you just want something different. So I pulled out something completely different. This one is out of the 2006 magazine, Vintique magazine, Cross Country Stitching. And it is called Redware. Let's see if I can find the picture of it. Yep, here it is. It's called Redware. It's sort of a fractal look to it, so it's very different than what I had been stitching on. There's a couple of other ones from the same designer. Let me see if I can find those. There's Yellowware and Game Boards. Sort of looks similar, look to the Redware picture. I think I have both of those magazines too. I don't know that I'll ever stitch Game Boards, but I do want to stitch Yellowware. This is, okay, so I picked this up and I had done a conversion, which I wrote down, and then I took flosses out of my bag, and I used to think, I'll remember where I put those. No, come on, let's be honest. There's just no way that's going to happen when I look at it 4 years later. But I left myself a little love note that said, one of the yellows I think I was working on, I put it in a pattern that I labeled Brenda G 40 count. I have no idea. But it was in my thread stash. So whatever I stitched, I must have put back the thread and didn't realize that I had already borrowed it from this project. And another one was pomegranate and baby spinach green. And I don't know. I think I put it in a project that I had finished. So those were also in my thread stash. Thank goodness. But even the DMCs that I had pulled out of my DMC set, and it was on the cardboard bobbins, and I've now converted them all to the plastic bobbins. So that's how old the thread is and the project. Here's how far I am. This is 40 count peanut butter pie by Dixie Sampler. It's a great fabric. It's a fun fabric, especially for this colorway. Now, I did notice that the light green here is the baby spinach, but when I stitched, it must have been that thread was a little bit lighter than the other that I used over here. So I might just stitch the whole thing and see if I am okay with it. And if not, I might pull out the light green and just put in a darker strand of it. We'll see. This is so much fun to stitch. Now there's outlining, right? So there's outlining around each of these. And then there's like a black work, but it's the color of thread I have is Indian Summer by Weeks. I think it's Indian Summer. And it goes from like a red to a dark red to almost black. So it really has great variegation when you stitch the scroll work here. So funny, all these hearts. I contemplate leaving them off, but I'm like, whatever. I'm going to leave them on. And I am going to take off, I'm going to leave off the dotted line that they stitch around this. It really dates it. That and the hearts really date it. And then there's another one in here that I like. This one's cute. The Lord bless you and keep you. And it is it's a wedding announcement, but the Lord bless you and keep you is a blessing at church. And so I think I put the rest of the blessing down here instead of make it a wedding sampler. But isn't that cute? Now, am I thrilled about all the backstitch? Not so much, but it's not terrible. It's not terrible. It's not a Paula Vaughn, and I've done a couple of those. The last one I just picked up yesterday. This is by Sub Rosa. This is Flower Sampler. I don't know what fabric she used, but it's a lot darker than what I selected. And I do my little, oh, here it is. Where's my show thing? This looks like platinum. I'm not sure, but to me, I think it might be platinum. And the white is sort of a ghosty white on here, but I don't hate that. I'm going to say that I like it in real life, and I do have a finish in mind for this. So yesterday, I filled in the rest of the vase, the really cool, funky vase, and I stitched, I think I had already stitched this, so I stitched the rest of the flowers. And all I have left is another flower. I might leave the alphabet off and then just put the key border like this on top of it. I have not yet decided. I'm unsure. Super soft colors, very pretty. That one should be done I'll probably finish that today. So making progress. I do think what I have for the patriotic stitching coming up, I have several of those that are like that flower sampler that'll be done quickly. So I'm on track. I'm just having to adjust my plans a little bit. You know how that goes. Those are my whips. What I worked on since the last video a month ago. Shiplap quilts. I got a mug from them. I just went over to their store today. And let me just show you what I got the last time I was there. I don't think I showed this in my last video. I think I showed this on an Insta story. This is this fig tree? No, coriander quilts. 100% blame this on Christy Crosshatch Quilts. Because she bought this kit and made it. And I had seen it at a store and passed it up because I have these are panels in the middle here, which makes it easy, right? These are all panels, so it makes it a pretty quick quilt. But I already had this one, which I bought and have not sewn. This one also, these are panels. So it looks like they're pieced, but they're not. I mean, there's piecing on here, but this middle section is not pieced. But I saw Christie's, I'm like, oh, I gotta have that. So I happened to be at Shiplap Quilts and they had it. I'm like, what, do I have to pay shipping? Thank you. I think it was on National Quilting Day, so I got a discount. Okay, so I'm gonna go over to Stitchy Kindness and talk about the giveaway and the next giveaway too. So Corinne from Grace Note Stitches reached out to me and she asked if she could send me some fabric. She and her daughter, I think it's Colleen, dye fabric now, and they sell it. They have a Facebook group. And I said, sure, anything you want to send is fine with me. And I like the sampler-ish colors. And so she sent this gorgeous, now this is really, it's a more yellow than it is cream. This one is a white peach tea. That was a perfect name for it. This is their fabric of the month color. If you're interested, I believe you go to their Facebook group. And you can also email her at gracenotestitches@gmail.com is her email address. But I would say if you're interested in these, go to their Facebook group. I'm not sure if she has an Etsy store. If she does, I'll link it below. But this feels great. It looks beautiful. The color modeling is beautiful. So this is really, I mean, you could do this. Red would be beautiful on this. Anything, a red sample would be gorgeous. You could also do like any kind of Easter stitching or spring stitching would look beautiful on this too. Really, really nice. Thank you very much, Corinne. I appreciate that. And it's a highly recommend. So there's that. And so our giveaways last time, one moment. Oh, here is Grace Note. This is the card that came with Grace Note Stitches. Isn't that pretty? I really like that. I remember looking at that going, ooh. They are on Flosstube, also Grace Note Stitches on Flosstube and on Facebook. Now, my friend Wendy Pete Ross reached out to me, and she has 3 new designs that are out. And I wanted to show them to you, and they're going to be 2 of them are going to be our next giveaway. So the first one is Token of Love. So this is by From the Heart Needle Art by Wendy. She lives in, I think she's in Idaho, and I met her at summer school last year in Arizona. She is a kindred spirit for sure. I really like Wendy. She reached out, she has these. This is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is Token of Love. The next one is a Spanish sampler. Javieri Fern. It's a Spanish sampler. I do not speak Spanish. Beautiful. And then the last one is the Green Pear Band sampler. Now, I'm going to keep this one. So, but if you're interested, you can buy these from Wendy. I will link her below also. I think she sells off at Etsy. You can get her patterns from your local needlework shop. In the next video, if you would like the Spanish sampler, just write Spanish in a comment. And if you would like a Token of Love, write Token, T-O-K-E-N. And tell me, let's see, what should I have you tell me this time? If you have one project that you want to finish this year, what is it? What's your goal? Do you have a goal? What is your #1 thing that you want to get done this year? I am truly interested to find out. And let's just talk about the last week's giveaway. So we had, what did I do with the other one? There's the Liberty, I don't know where it went. There's a Liberty sampler that is, I do not know where that went. It's around here somewhere. It's a Paulette Stewart design, and it has a house with a truck. It's really cute. I bought 2 of them. That winner is AC Stitches. I'll put your name below here. And the mystery sampler, that is the linens and threads 2017, that is partly stitched and has the DMC variegated threads, the Krynic. That is Shauna Marie stitches. And this comes with the project bag. So this whole thing, we tucked in the mail to you. Shauna Marie stitches. Congratulations to both of you. I will find the Liberty sampler. It's around here somewhere. I'll probably find it as I'm looking through my everything on my table here. All right. I think the rest of this, I want to talk about this next. So I had picked this up from a little, it was an antique shop, and she had a few sewing things. I bought it. It's a pincushion rocking chair, and it had purple and white gingham cushions that were original to this, which was probably made in the 50s, really. And I think a lot of husbands made these for their wives. It had sawdust inside of it, and it was pretty stained from the tannin and the wood, but it was super cute, and I redid mine. You've seen this on Instagram, and you'll have already seen this. This is, I don't think this is a blackbird fabric, but this is. So I'm dying, you guys. I can't stand it. It's so dang cute. I bought spools of, you know what it is, anchor thread. I wanted to say Sullivan's. It wasn't Sullivan's. It's anchor. I bought it in the kind of the creamish yellow colors, and then 3 of the red. And this is a little, it didn't have one of these when I redid it, but this is a blackbird. I had a fat quarter of it, I think, or a fat eighth. And then I made a scissor pocket for the back. So the scissors just sitting there. And then this has a little drawer. And I lined the drawer like I did the cushion. And I couldn't quit looking at it. It was so stinking cute. Sometimes you make things and you're like, meh, it's all right. And sometimes you make something, you're like, oh, I love this. And it is because the fabrics and everything came together on it. I just love it. So I worked on that one weekend. And I can't remember when that was, maybe a couple weeks ago. Also, in my girls' weekend trip when I went junking, I found a few things. I bought this little wood piece, and I am going to do a punch needle and attach it right here. I probably will drill a hole and make this a wall hanging. Like you can just put it, it could be a freestanding one too, I'm not sure yet, but I probably just leave it kind of grungy. It's got like paint that's worn in the back. Looks like somebody put this in their shop or their garage and they just, I don't know, just threw stuff in there. Then I also picked up this. This is going to be a pincushion finish. Isn't that not adorable? It's metal and they like chalk painted it. I think it needs a spray varnish on it. Otherwise, it kind of has that chalky feel, but I'm afraid that it'll chip off over time. And I picked this up. If you watch my Insta stories, you saw the things that I was shopping. And I found this great store in Astoria, Oregon that's off the beaten path. And they had a ton of stuff. You know, and so here's the thing. A couple of shops that I went into, I bought it like a little, I would say it's like a dresser desk. I'm not sure which it is. But I asked the store owner, can I take some clips, video clips before I buy this and then post it on Instagram? And she was so happy. She's like, yes, I would love you too. Just tag me. And I did. And then the other store, she was so happy that she gave me a discount. She was just like, thank you so much. So this is, I'm going to use also for a punch needle. There are several like Uncle Sam punch needles that you can make a freestanding. Once you're done, just make it like it's like a cross stitch freestanding piece. And you just put it on here and it gets mounted on one of these. But this blue, fantastic. It was a great find. I also bought this little tin. This was like on the top shelf, kind of in the back where nobody would probably pick it up. And it was really dusty. Like I had to clean it up. But look at the strawberries on this and the shape of the tin. It's just regular tin on the inside, but I have something in mind for that. Something's on my radar for that. I also picked up some buttons because I'm always using buttons on my bags when I sell them, and I'm going to be selling on bags today. Another more buttons. These are like this one, 28 Lilac Lane. These are great buttons. I like these a lot because they're not. There's not too many of the gigantic ones that I can't use. This one is buttons galore and more. This has some of the bigger ones, but it has a lot of the smaller ones, which I use a lot of. And this is button basics. This is also buttons galore and more. And I was out of pink. I just didn't have enough of the pink. So I bought that. And at that same shop, I bought, it pays to dig. I'm just going to say that. I was chatting with the girl up front. It was a pretty busy little quilt store. It was in Longview, Washington, just over the river from Portland, and Portland, Oregon. I dug around and I found this Kathy Schmidt's book. So Kathy does embroidery, and she also has fabric lines. I really like her stuff. The gal at the front goes, "That's not ours, is it? I've never seen that." I'm like, "Oh yeah, it was in the pile back there. I dug, it was at the bottom." And this has fantastic is this. I love that. But the one that I really got me was, let's see if I can find it. That doesn't take too long. Well, here's another one. Super creative. I feel like, if you were doodling, you just, oh, here's another one. This is a great book. And I don't have it. And I think it's like a 10-year-old book. It's just been sitting there, waiting for somebody to come and buy it. Oh, here we go. This is the one I really like a lot. So I think I am going to make this. And I have a finish in mind for this too. That was a great find. What else came in the mail? Can I share with you? I got a chicken salad calendar. This was at Shiplap Quilts when I bought the kit. Did I show you guys this already? It feels like I have. I'm not sure. They gave that away, which is nice. This came in the mail. This is the Country Sampler Threads Through Time, I think is the group. This is cute. I like that. I like the colors on this too. And they do such a nice job with packaging. Oh, here's the Liberty chart. I knew I had it. I'll put that in the pile to be sent. The GH 1857 that I showed you last time. By the way, somebody on Instagram has finished the sampler. It is gorgeous. There are also some errors, and I think you have to go to her website to find the correction sheet. So I'm going to have to look for that. I also might ask Hobby House where I bought this. And I have my threads that came in, except for there's one NPI silk that I haven't bought yet for that. That's on my short list. That goes with my other ones that I showed you 2 videos ago, I think. With Jane Hopkins, there's there's 2 of them. The Rose Wreath sampler. This was a Stacey Nash kit you could buy. I bought that. It was spending. It was good though. Oh, here's my festive my Flosstubes to shout out. The other one that I didn't mention was the Cross Stitch Farmhouse. Kelsey. I watched Kelsey. So I watched Tiny House Stitcher, the Sable Stitcher, the Cross Stitch Farmhouse. There are so many channels now. I could watch new people 100% of the time if I want to, but I just don't have a lot of time. I picked this up off of somebody gave me a heads up. Did they tell me about this? Nope, this was a different site. This is Field Notes. It is a Blackbird design fabric. I have a cut of this already. I wanted some more of it. It is, this is to die for fabric. It is so beautiful. That color, look at the highlights and the lowlights in the print. It's gorgeous. So I I bought this. I think it's just a couple yards, but I was super happy to run across it. So now I have 2 cuts of that. And then this is a blackbird punch needle. I'm like, what? I didn't know that they did such a thing, but it's been around so long that the edges are all faded. I didn't care. Blackbird punch needle. Who knew? I didn't know that. All right, what else do we have here? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I have missed you guys. I'm telling you, no more of these long delays. Mischievous Stitches. Lori just got this framed. I remember when this came out. I think this was out from market last year, and I really liked it. I didn't buy it, and when I saw her framed piece, I thought, I am buying that. I am buying it, and I'm going to stitch it. And this would be, it's like 2 colors. I bet that would go pretty quick. Like, there's words, a few little bands, should be no problem. Then when I was going down to my girls' weekend and I was junking, I stopped at Goodwill. I don't often go into Goodwill. I don't really have a lot of extra time, so I did have time that day. And I went to I was looking for craft stuff, and I found this book, which is Flower Bed Threads. This sometimes has, oh, this is by Needle Love. This sometimes has designers in it that we know, like Maggie Bononomy. As soon as I opened the cover, I'm like, for $3? Yes, I'm buying this book. And then the back one, is that not gorgeous? Oh, I love that. Sometimes Blackbird is in these too, Blackbird Designs. Sometimes they have funny, just different types of finishes that you might not think of doing on your own. Very creative. Trying to see if there's anything else in here that you might like. You might have this book, I don't know. There is this cross stitch. My dear friend, my dear sweet friend. Look at that. That bag's cute too. Just inspires me. So, and then this one I saw at a quilt store I had stopped at up the road, and I was thinking about buying it and I didn't. And then I got it for $3 at the Goodwill. So look at that. That was a score. I was happy about that. Also, to add to my, oh yeah, did I show you guys this one? I can't remember if I showed you this one. Simple Pleasures. This has an Alma Allen from Blackbird. She did that design. Sometimes, like I said, they in the early years, they may have collaborated with other people. And then 2 other things that came in that I had wanted from market in my next go-around was Animac Jeanette from Needlework Press. Now these, look at those deer. Aren't they hilarious? They kind of look like T-Rex deer with the short arms at the front. I might actually put those on the ground, but the satin stitches on this just slay me. This is such a beautiful sampler. And then this one, Jane Penny 1834 by Cardon Antiques. Now, look at that big peacock sitting on top of that tree. I think that's my favorite part of this sampler, is that peacock. Awesome. I'm going to show you this in a minute. Are you getting tired of haul? Well, I got more. So if you're not, that's awesome. I bought this off of a gal on Facebook. I think I might have been stash unloading. It was Marilyn Perlman. And look at this fabric. I don't even know what fabric line this is. I was like, did I snooze and not sell out? But I think she's had it for a while. So I want to say it's a couple years old. It has a box pleat at the bottom and kind of a red floral print on the inside. This is really nice for smalls. Really nice. It's a great size. So I just, look at that. Cross stitch. Cute. And this is Rachel from Needle and Flax. Made me do it. She showed this one. This is Samplers Remembered. Samplers Revisited. Rachel Lewis, 1791. It's a blue house, but look at the awesome foliage around it. So I found this one on Tinka's website, which is Victorian Needle Arts. So I bought this, and then I saw this, which is Reflated Soie, and one of my favorites. I remember seeing this, but then I didn't look closely, and now that I have it, I'm super happy I got it. This would be gorgeous on it, like a darker, like maybe a cedar plank, lakeside cedar plank. It would be gorgeous. And then I also picked up, so this one was one that, this is Seraphim Winter White. Is this Seraphim? Yes, Winter White. And it's really, it kind of reminds me, oh, it's totally blown out, but it kind of reminds me of Platinum by Zweigart. It's just a really warm kind of a, what would you call it? A complementary one would be Maritime White by Lakeside, or maybe Vellum by Picture This Plus, although Vellum's probably a little bit lighter. This is definitely warm. And so one of the Brenda Gervais, the one that came out with the birds and it had the blue, what is the name of that one that I really wanted, I bought. Anyway, so this is the one, this is the fabric. I think I'm going to stitch that on. We'll see. I'm not starting anything soon, so we'll see if we get there. Then this is Sister Sampler by Abby Rose Designs. You know full well as I do the value of a sister's affections. There's nothing like it in the world. Charlotte Bronte. Fantastic. Love that. And then today, I was out and about. I'm almost done here. I won't have too much more. I was out and about, and some days I don't get out of the house. Like, I'm an extrovert. And by the way, you guys keep me afloat. Your comments mean everything to me. And your thank yous and your words of encouragement are just, because I work from home now 100% of the time. And my poor husband, he goes out in peoples during the day. He works independently by himself quite a bit, but he's more introverted. And like, he comes home and I'm like, you know, because I haven't talked to anybody except for through Skype all day. And, you know, we're just making it through this change in life. Anyway, so I left today. I got out of the house because I had to go somewhere. And I picked up some laundry basket quilts fabric. This is her new line. Is this upside down? Yeah, it is. Here, I'll flip it this way. So you buy it by the panel. This is red. It's gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. And then I have like several cuts of this fabric in different color combinations. This is a new one for her. And I'm going to make a Christmas quilt with these. I'm sorry, somebody keeps looking at my stuff on Instagram and commenting, I think. But this is just like to die for. But this is going to, I think this is going to go into a Christmas quilt with this. Yep. And then I just happened to see some blackbird fabric, and I bought what was on the bolt because there was enough to back a quilt. So you can see I've got a fair amount of blackbird in there, but to have enough to do a back is great. And so that was a find. Now last bit of haul here. When I was on my way to my girls' trip, I stopped at one of my favorite quilt stores, which is Jane's Fabric Patch in Tillamook, Oregon. It's on the Oregon coast. And I bought, did I buy this at Jane's? I can't remember. Anyway, there was this fabric, and I have made bags with this before, and they just flew out the door. So I bought a little bit more to make some more of those bags. And I bought some laundry basket quilt fabric that I was thinking about making bags with, but I think I'm going to make a quilt with it because Edita Sitar has done a mystery quilt, and with her Alaska ruler, if you go onto her website, you can see it. And this line is all blues, and it has cheater fabrics, which means they look like it's quilted already. So here's the first one. I don't think I've seen this one in person. I love that. I was going to make this as the outside and this as the inside. Now this is that same sampler fabric as the red that I just showed you, but it's in blue. It's a very pale light blue. And then this is the one that she used on the back of her quilt. I love this one. Isn't that fantastic? It looks like a hexie quilt, and it's a cheater, so it's not quilted. And that would be the outside, and I think this, no, this might have just been a cut. I don't know. And then there's this one. Oh, no, this would have been the outside, and this would have been the inside of that one. I don't know, you guys. It's been a little while ago. Now this one, okay, so this is what Edita used in her mystery quilt. And it was sold out everywhere. So I was carrying this around the store, and the gal comes up to me and she goes, I have a gal on the phone. She was looking for this bolt of fabric and asked if we had any because she wanted it for the mystery quilt. You know, how much are you going to take? And I was like, I think I just want 2 yards. And there was plenty. That gal was so happy because she couldn't find it anywhere. And so I think she took the rest of the bolt. But, oh, love that. And then this would have been the inside of that one. Now, I'm going to pause on that because I'm pretty sure the more I look at that, I'm just going to make a quilt with it first. We'll see. I probably have some left to make a project bag or two, but I don't know. I'm torn. I am totally torn. So the last thing I want to show you, this is by Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery. She's in Canada. Her name is Lori. She has great cross-stitch designs. She did a whole bunch of them that are like Peppermint House, Gingerbread House. She was doing a bunch of them at Christmas, and they're adorable. And now she has 2 Easter ones that she just released that I really like them both, and I probably will bite them both. But she showed a block of the month that she was going to release, and so I already have another block of the month that I have done nothing on, and I need to start. Here we are in April, but this is her block of the month. It is pieced, embroidered, and wool applique, and it is everything. I absolutely love it. And probably more than anything because she's using laundry basket quilt fabrics, which is my favorite. You can tell by now it's my favorite. Let me pull it out and show you. So here are this is a laundry basket quilt fabric. And there are more pieces in here. I'm not going to take all of this apart, but you can tell the colors. It's just going to be gorgeous. So this was block 1. This is intricate. 1 block, and it's going to be amazing when it's done. So we also got the thread pack, the Valdani thread pack. Gorgeous. And when I was at Jane's Fabric Patch, I bought enough to back the quilt with this. So, what is the lesson for today? Lisa needs to retire because I've got so much stuff to do. I can't, like, if I could just roll my king-size bed into this craft room and live here, the rest of the house, I don't care because I wouldn't have to clean it. I would just live in my craft room. My husband thinks that I'm going to get bored when I retire. In fact, he's like, you should probably work another year. I don't know that you're going to be ready to retire. And I just look at him, I'm like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? But I probably will do it just to help us through the build of the house. We'll see how long I last. I don't know. So our goal is to sell this house in about a year and then move to Oregon. I have to get permission from my employer to do that. And so we'll see what happens with it. But God's plan is in front of us. We just have to see it when it unfolds and trust that what is meant to be will happen. That is it. What a mess here. But I hope that you are overwhelmed with the blessings of this season, and that tomorrow, the best day of the year, when the stone rolls away and Jesus is gone to do battle for us and rises from the dead, that gives us hope and salvation for eternity. Many, many blessings to you. Thank you, my friends, and we will see you next time. Take care.